Imagine a land so vast and rugged that it defies the boundaries of the modern map. Alaska, often referred to as the last frontier, is unlike any other state in the U.S. Although it's one of the 50 states, it's physically disconnected, with miles of Canadian wilderness separating it from the rest of the nation. This isolation only enhances its mystique. From towering peaks to untamed forests and wildlife that looks plucked straight from a National Geographic cover, Alaska embodies the spirit of nature, raw and unfiltered. In this video, we'll dive deep into Alaska's geographic uniqueness, jaw-dropping natural wonders, incredible wildlife, rich indigenous heritage, and its timeless appeal as a frontier for exploration. By the end, you'll understand why Alaska isn't just a state on the map, it's a world entirely its own. Let's start with Alaska's placement on the globe. Physically detached from the contiguous United States, Alaska is separated by Canadian terrain, a unique trait among American states. Surprisingly, it's closer to Russia than to many U.S. states. Across the narrow Bering Strait, just 2.4 miles of water at its closest point, Alaska and Russia are near neighbors. Then there's Alaska's sheer size. At over 663,000 square miles, it's the largest U.S. state, dwarfing Texas, California, and Montana combined. You could fit several European countries within its borders. This enormity translates into boundless diversity in landscapes, climate, and ecosystems. In terms of climate, Alaska is a land of extremes. Its vastness spans multiple zones, including Arctic tundra in the north, temperate rainforests in the southeast, and subarctic climates in between. Winters can be brutally cold, while summers bring light-filled days that seem to never end. Such contrasts make Alaska both a challenge to inhabit and an unparalleled natural treasure. Alaska's landscapes are some of the most awe-inspiring on Earth. At the heart of this incredible natural beauty lies Denali, the tallest peak in North America, towering at 20,310 feet. Denali National Park is a showcase of unspoiled wilderness with expansive tundra, glacial rivers, and valleys that command respect and reverence. Beyond Denali, Alaska boasts over 100,000 glaciers, covering about 5% of the state. Glaciers like the Mendenhall near Juneau or the breathtaking fjords of Kenai Peninsula are frozen testaments to the state's dynamic geology. Some glaciers spill spectacularly into the ocean, forming calving icebergs that crash into icy waters, a mesmerizing display of nature's raw power. Alaska's coastlines are equally impressive. Fjords carved by ancient glacial movements create dramatic seascapes. Active volcanoes like those in the Aleutian Islands add to the state's dramatic geological profile, their peaks often shrouded in mist, reminding visitors of Earth's elemental forces at play. In Alaska, the wilderness reigns supreme, and its inhabitants represent a thriving ecosystem few places in the world can match. On land, grizzly bears and moose roam freely, both iconic symbols of this wild terrain. Alaska is home to some of the largest grizzly populations in the world, and witnessing these creatures in their natural habitat is a humbling experience. Moose also dot the landscape, their impressive antlers marking them among the most recognizable species in Alaska's forests. Above the treetops, Alaska's skies are graced by bald eagles. Often called a symbol of American freedom, bald eagles thrive in the state, soaring effortlessly against the backdrop of mountain peaks and open skies. Alaska boasts some of the largest populations of bald eagles in the nation, a true testament to its pristine environment. Life in Alaska also thrives in its surrounding oceans. Humpback whales migrate to these waters, breaching and diving in dramatic displays. The state's salmon runs are legendary, supporting not only the local ecosystems but also its fisheries, which are pivotal to Alaska's economy and culture. Seals, otters, and orcas add to the vibrant marine life, making Alaska's waters an underwater paradise teeming with life. Yet alongside this abundance lies the challenge of coexistence. As humans expand their reach into Alaska's wild spaces, delicate agreements of balance and conservation are required to ensure the survival of both people and animals. Long before Alaska was charted on modern maps, it was home to indigenous peoples who thrived through harsh winters and endless terrains. Tribes such as the Tlingit, Inupiat, and Yupik have called Alaska home for thousands of years, each preserving unique traditions that tie them deeply to the land. For the Tlingit, the temperate coastal rainforests formed the backbone of their way of life. They harvested fish and game and passed down stories through intricate totem poles. Meanwhile, the Inupiat in the far north adapted ingeniously to Arctic conditions, relying on the sea's bounty, whales and seals for food, tools, and clothing. These indigenous communities hold profound spiritual connections to nature. Wildlife isn't merely sustenance, it's kin, viewed with respect and honored through ceremonies and storytelling. In countless ways, their cultural traditions reflect a world harmoniously woven into Alaska's wild fabric. Today, indigenous peoples continue to play a vital role in preserving Alaska's natural heritage. Through activism, education, and tourism, they share their culture with the world while advocating for sustainable practices that respect their ancestral lands. The spirit of exploration has always been synonymous with Alaska. The allure of the last frontier drew gold rush miners to its untamed terrain in the late 19th century, hoping to strike it rich. Today, that same aura of adventure calls out to nature lovers, scientists, and thrill seekers alike. But living in Alaska is no small feat. Its challenging winters, remoteness, and wild landscapes mean that only the most resilient can call it home. Despite these challenges, Alaskans have learned to adapt, shaping industries like oil, fishing, and tourism to sustain their communities. Alaska's geographical location also gives it global importance. It serves as a key military outpost with proximity to Asia and Europe, and its ecological health is critical for monitoring climate change. The state stands as an environmental barometer, its glaciers, permafrost, and ecosystems offering insights into the planet's shifting climate. Alaska has been immortalized in countless ways. From documentary films to novels, its landscapes inspire artistry and storytelling. Wildlife lovers tune in to observe its iconic animals, and photographers flock there to capture its auroras, dramatic fjords, and sprawling wilderness. For tourists, Alaska represents more than a destination. It's a dream. Visitors from around the world arrive to experience activities like dog sledding, glacier hiking, or guided bear watching tours. And then there's the Northern Lights, dancing ribbons of green and purple that illuminate the winter sky, enchanting anyone who sees them. The state also holds a special place in the heart of adventurers. Whether climbing Denali, kayaking in glacial waters, or trekking through its dense forests, Alaska offers an experience that's as much about inner discovery as the natural world. Though Alaska remains one of the most untouched regions on Earth, it faces growing environmental challenges. Climate change is drastically reshaping its landscape. Glaciers are shrinking, permafrost is melting, and Arctic wildlife populations are feeling the strain. These changes are intricately linked to global weather patterns, making Alaska a focal point for climate researchers. Efforts to conserve these fragile ecosystems are underway. Indigenous communities, environmentalists, and policymakers are working to balance development with preservation. Whether through sustainable tourism or stricter protections for endangered species, Alaska's future depends on thoughtful stewardship. The tension between progress and preservation is at the heart of Alaska's story. Can economic growth coexist with environmental ethics? As the world looks to Alaska for inspiration, these questions grow more urgent. Alaska isn't just a place, it's an experience, a canvas of nature's most extraordinary achievements. From its majestic mountains to the quiet wisdom of its indigenous cultures, Alaska represents the essence of wild beauty and human resilience. In a fast-paced world, Alaska stands still, a reminder of what the planet looked like long before modern times. Its landscapes, wildlife, and people weave a story of coexistence between humanity and nature. To truly understand its magic, one must embrace it fully, witnessing a land where nature calls the shots and the wild frontier beckons us to protect it for the generations to come.